Okay, so you will notice that I cut out all the chit chat in the videos. I don't want to share personal information on the videos because the world can see these things. So let's start by creating this new spreadsheet, and you would notice that I'm just gonna mention some things again and again. This is a book, okay, a workbook. You will also notice it says book, but it contains sheets. Okay, and that is why this thing is called a sheet. And later on, the sheet will be renamed and sheets may be added. And like we discovered yesterday, don't delete a sheet. You can't get it back. There's no undo button. But I've noticed that yesterday when we delete a sheet, they do ask you if you are sure. So rather make yourself a copy. Remember how to do that. You just click on the select all button, and by select all I mean next to A above 1. And when you do that, you can just click on copy, go to your new sheet and say paste. And you have a spreadsheet that you can actually name, experiment, or um, practice or whatever. So you never touch your original. You just always use the backup one. So that is how you can be safe. So first of all, we are going to create this, and you are going to be happy to see that it's not too much typing, but the formulas, and this is the lovely thing about Excel. If you have the formula, you enter the formula, it just does all these things so quickly and so easily. So I'm going to start by creating the spreadsheet. I'm going to start in I1. So you can follow along when you do this either from my video or from the slides or from the book, and I will show you later on where you can find it in the book. Okay, so we have a title here, and the title is Hypermass Online Storage. That is what you call our main title, and then we also have a subtitle, and this is salary report. There's some things that's going to happen or appear in here that you have not yet done. So make sure you watch this video. It's very important. Each lesson gives you a few new things, and it's always important to keep those things in mind. Okay, now in this specific spreadsheet, we don't have the column with the names. We have name column on the side, but it's a little bit different. Whereas with the previous one, we had the months and the years and things like that, where now we are just working with people. Okay, so the first column heading, and remember, a column heading is the thing at the top of the columns, and these are row headings. Okay, so the first one is the employee. Notice that when I enter anything in here, I can tell that yes, this title is too big for this blog. Yes, this one also. Yes, this one also. But I don't touch anything. Considering formatting, I don't touch anything. I finish this whole thing and then I follow the instructions. So you should do the same. I have seen so many times students notice, oh, it doesn't fit. So what they do is they go ahead and they drag this out so that it displays nicely. Don't do that because you're going to fix it eventually and you don't need to fix it right now. So if you've seen that I don't care much about things overlapping, it's because eventually it will be fixed. Okay, so the next one is dependence. Why do I feel like I'm not spelling it right? It says it says dependence. Doesn't feel right to put an E there, but anyway, you guys can see when you do it. Now, this is the first new thing that you're going to learn today. We are going to create a column heading that is in it's one cell, but it's a top bottom level, like this. So we have got the words hours, and now I would like to insert the word worked. So my whole title is going to be hours worked. So you are not going to press enter like this and then type worked underneath. No. What you're going to do is you are going to create or use your keyboard to make the cell bigger. So after you have typed hours, you press Alt Enter. And you will notice that the insertion point is going to the next line. And now I'm ready to type worked. Now that I've entered my whole title the way I wanted, I can press enter, and you will notice here that hours worked is just in cell C3, and it's on 2 lines. I'm saying 2 lines, rows. It sounds like I'm saying 2 cells. It's in one cell, but it has 2 lines. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay, so all you do is use Alt Enter. The next one is also like that. Hourly. Okay, Alt Enter, and then you say pay rate. And now I just press regular enter. Okay. So once again, hourly pay rate only in cell D3, but on 2 lines. Okay. Next one will be gross pay. That is just 1 line. Next one is federal tax. I'm so glad we don't have all these different taxes. As you know, in America, each state has its own laws, its own taxes, its own everything. I have no interest in moving to America. Net pay, my husband, on the other hand, he would like that. Okay, so as you can see, only 2 of our cells have the 2-line heading. Okay. Now you will notice here that we have entered that there's going to be quite a few calculations, and we are going to calculate gross pay, federal tax, state tax percentage, and net pay. And all of these things are formulas. I don't expect you to memorize the formula. You just need to know how to use the formula. So, of course, I'll give you the formula. Okay, so here we are entering some names. And these are the people working at this particular company. Right. The first one is Carl Michael. And you will see, just put the comma in between. Okay. As you can see, I'm pressing enter because I would like to go to the next line. Whereas with my column headings, I press right arrow so that I can move to the right. Okay, I'm trying to enter them as fast as I can. Green Sue. Okay. Figure. Not sure what that is. Lane John. Peter. Rodriguez John. Out of interest, in Afrikaans, when you spell something Juan, it actually is pronounced as Juan. That is just something you may not have known, Williams. And okay, so here we have our names, and as you can see, all the names overlap technically. It's too small or too big for this little column. Not a problem. We're going to handle that very soon. Okay. Now we're going to enter our dependents, and this is the nice fast part. So you just press 3, enter 0, enter 1, enter 2, enter 3, enter 3, enter 2, 2, enter 0, and 4. Okay, so at the moment you will see we haven't just moved it to the center or anything yet. That is because we're probably going to do that when we format this spreadsheet. So at the moment, and as you know, dependent is children or people that you take care of. Okay, so now we're going to enter hours worked. And just so you guys know, I know we all feel like a spreadsheet should be all about money, but just remember that not everything is money. For example, hours worked has got nothing to do with money. So there will not be a currency symbol involved in hours worked. It's just a regular number. And in specifically this, guys, it does have decimals because you can work 3.2 hours. Okay, so just mentioning that you shouldn't just always assume that everything is money. So I'm entering these values the best to my ability. We will check our balances later and see if out of haste I may have made some errors. It's like human error is one of the reasons nothing can ever be absolutely without a doubt true. And my brother is a medical writer and he works for a UK company, and I tell you guys, he is very, very good at stats, and he checks people's stats in their research. And yeah, see, I'm already, while I'm talking, I've skipped something. 60.45, 81.5, 69.5, 62. Oh, yeah, we missed something. 62.25, 71.25, 44.65, 55.50. Okay, sure. And yes, so we are obviously going to calculate using some of these values that we are entering right now. We just need to also enter one more thing, and that is how much each person gets paid per hour. Now, as you know, not all people get paid the same amount per hour, depending on the type of work you do. And as you can see in this specific one, some people, the highest paid person is $22 an hour. So don't know what that person does, but some places are all the same. And calculated at either amounts of stuff you do, in this case hourly pay rate. So I'm just quickly going to enter the values in here as well. 19.5, 22.85, 17.36, 19.45. Don't you just envy those people at the bank who can enter everything without looking? I guess if we did that 8 hours a day, we would also not look when we enter values. Who has been to the bank, by the way? I haven't been to the bank in years. No one goes to the bank anymore. Okay, so we are finally at this point where we can actually start calculating some stuff. All right, so I'm going to start here with gross pay, and we are going to look for the formula for gross pay. Now, I'm going to show you in your textbook where you can find it, but it's also on your slides. So what I did was I just printed myself the formula page, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to enter the formulas and show you how to enter the formulas. All right. So the formula for gross pay will be calculated hours worked times hourly pay rate. Okay, now as you know, here we find hours worked and here we find hourly pay rate. Now, like I said in the first lesson, you are not going to enter in here like this. I'm going to do it just to show you. You're not going to say 60.45 times is the asterisk, by the way, 19.5. It will give you an answer, most definitely. But what happens when I pull down on this block? It's going to give me the exact same answer every time. That is because I entered the value and not the cell. Okay. So if the formula stays the same for everything in gross pay, all that changes is it moves down one cell, then you will most definitely not enter the actual value, which is 60.45. Okay. So, in other words, if you are going to calculate something that the formula is just going to be copied down, you will have to use cell referencing. Okay. So the formula is always start with an equal sign, and we said hours worked multiply with hourly pay rate. Okay. Now, whenever you click in a cell after you have set equal sign, it indicates that you are working with an active cell. And in this case, these are the values that will eventually change. Okay, so we are saying C4 times D4. That is going to give you the formula. Now remember, just now I entered the value, which will work, but when you copy it down, it will give you the exact same answer. Okay, so I'm pressing enter, and as you can see, it gives me the exact same answer that it did before. But now when I copy it down, it will give me the correct answer for every line. Okay, for example, here it says C4, D4. Now it says C5, D5, C6, D6, and you can go on and on and on. And that is the beauty of Excel. You just need to enter the first formula. And once again, if you are entering that like in numbers, like equal sign 60.45 times 19.5, you are going to make mistakes. It's human. We are not designed to, and I mean, in a exam, you're going to be so stressed out, and you're going to type instead of a 5, maybe a 6, or your finger is going to slip to the next key. So that is why this is the way better way to do it, more accurate for sure. Okay. So we are now moving on to calculate federal tax. And federal tax has a different kind of formula, and you never need to memorize formulas. So you just need to know how to enter it into your cell. Okay, so I'm saying equal sign because I always start with an equal sign. Now federal tax has got a different calculation. 0.22 starts with that. Let me just mention something while I'm thinking of it. You guys are going to ask me, or you may put a space between operations, like for example, times. Never put spaces, never, ever, ever, because that is something you will use for a word. So when you're working with formulas, never make a space. Yeah, so it may not look cosmetically beautiful, but I promise you that is the right way to do it. Don't make a space. Okay, so 0.22 times, okay, we're going in for a bracket. You guys have done maths. I'm sure you guys know exactly why we use brackets. Let me tell you, brackets are done first. Okay, so the formula now says gross pay, which is in E4, minus dependents, which is in B4, times 24.32. So that is your whole formula. So your whole formula is equal sign 0.22 multiply with E4 minus B4 times 24.32, and this in a bracket. If you have forgotten your bracket, you will get an error message. I'll show you now. So here we have an answer. By the way, if you ever see a word range finder or formula checker, that means you just need to double click in your cell that contains the formula. If I remove the bracket on the end, it's going to give me an error, and it says we found a typo in your formula and we tried to correct it. So it says we suggest you should close your bracket. So do you want to accept this correction? Then you can just say yes, and they will insert it for you. I'm sure not everything is going to be this nice. Maybe you make an error that they definitely cannot solve, but always read the message. Okay, so since I've entered my formula and I have used E4, E5, I predict that the next one is going to be E5, E6, E7 up to there, and so on and so forth. And there we go. So notice that you had to first calculate gross pay, otherwise you could not have continued. Now we're calculating state tax. That is an easy formula. State tax is equal sign 0.04 multiply by gross pay. Okay, once again, never ever type the number in the cell. Just click in the cell and press enter. No brackets needed. We just enter the formula the way they give it anyway. Next one, tax percentage. Here we go. Equal sign, bracket, federal tax, plus state tax, close the bracket, divided by gross pay. Notice divided by is the slash on my number pad. Press enter and you have it. So when you do this, I recommend pausing the video and then just continuing when you're done. Last one, net pay equals gross pay minus bracket federal tax plus state tax. Enter. Okay. Okay, so as far as these calculations go, we are done. Let's talk about higher date. Higher date is a headache because our programs are not US settings. So if you look at your assignment and you notice that the higher date says the following, here that I can't read, so I'm going to go and enter the first one. They enter it like this, 4/5/20. Okay, so we are imagining it as 20 May 2004. If that really is 20 May 2004, who knows? Okay, let's look at the next one. Let's take 7 divided by divided /11. Okay, and yet this one doesn't work. So this is why I always have an issue with dates. If I give you dates in the exam or if I give you dates in homework or whatever, usually I just skip it, or you can just enter it the way it is, because it's so hard to determine what they are talking about. Obviously the 15, okay, that has got to be the year, but which one will be the month and which one will be the day? So for those of you who are feeling like they would like to do some research, you guys can go ahead and find out in America, or you can just Google it. I guess I can Google it also. Maybe I will later. Just find out which one do they enter first, second, and third, and then you can enter your dates like that. Done. So it's pointless to enter all these dates because we're not going to get the right dates. Luckily for us, the dates are not really something that we need to worry about in this exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it like this for now, and then I'm going to go and Google it. And then on Thursday, um, I'll bring you an answer. All right. So let's continue. In row 13, we are now going to calculate the totals, and we are going to use the formula or the function that we used last time. All right, so I'm heading over here. I'm going to calculate all the totals, but you will notice later on we don't need to calculate all of the totals. Okay, so how do we calculate totals? We've done this last time. You will say equal sign, sum, double click on the blue, and then you will select the cells that contain the values. Don't select the column heading. It's not going to work. Okay. Right. And as always, first press enter, wait for the green square, and now you can copy. We are not copying the date, okay, because it's a date. We don't have to calculate. There's no sum that can be calculated here. All right. Some 3 new functions that they want us to add to our list of functions today is the highest, the lowest, and the average. So, yeah, we will type highest, lowest, and average. So we are going to enter a formula for highest, which is maximum. We're going to enter a formula for lowest, which is minimum, and for average, which is AVG. Okay, so let's continue. Very easy to do. For highest, you will just type equal sign max. And here the first one says it returns the largest value. Yep. Double click on that. And once again, select. But don't select the total. All right. Once again, if you select the total, it's going to give you the total. All right. So if you are afraid of selecting your total, just go ahead and color it a different color for now, just in case. Okay, so once again, equal sign max, and then you just select the range. The lowest is the same way, equal sign min, double click on it, and select your range, not the total. And you will not believe how many times in the past students select everything, which is also including the total and the highest one. Okay, don't do that. And then average. Okay, AVER, I just type the first 4 letters and it will give me average, and this returns the average. So once you found the correct function, you just double click on it and select the range, not the totals, and there you have it. So if you look at it, 4 is in fact the highest one for Xiaojin. Okay, the lowest is in fact 0, and the average is 2 kids per person, or 2 dependents. Now I'm going to show you something awesome. You don't have to drag one at a time. You can actually select all 3 that you just calculated, and you can copy them all at once. And if you look here, you'll see the formulas right. Control accent to view your formulas. And this way you can tell, I can tell, that you in fact use the correct formulas. Control accent to take it off. Speaking of control accent, let me quickly take a photo for you guys. And hopefully I can take a photo. My phone is flat. Yeah, I think I can. Okay, gonna send it on our WhatsApp group. All right. Phew. So this is where we stop for now. So we have calculated all the things that we need to calculate. We have learned 3 more functions, 4 in total, and we have learned something new today regards to line headings. Do you guys have any questions for me? Just gonna stop my recording.